Hello, everyone. Very good evening. Uh, First of all, please let me know. Am I audible or not, guys? Please let me know. Hello. I think I'm audible to all of you guys. Please let me know. Please let me know, guys. Am I audible or not? I hope I am audible. Yes. Thank you, Rishu. Okay, as I told you, like the entire decoration or the interior is like a front end. Okay, we always interact with the front end and we order some food to the waiter, right? And the waiter will take your order and he or she will go to the kitchen and told the chef that, hey chef, a guest is come to our restaurant and he or she would like to take a cup of coffee. Then chef will prepare the coffee for you guys, right? So the backend portion is like a kitchen. And now let's talk about what is API. Sir, you have already told that API, right? So what is API? API is nothing but some functionality that provides you a very much easy interface to perform some work. Like you have go to the restaurant, right? And you order some food. So you don't have to go to the kitchen and you don't need to prepare the food by yourself, right? So the waiter gives you a functionality or a simplest way to perform some work, right? So that is basically an API. Okay. Now the very first thing in this bootcamp, we are going to use JavaScript to write our backend. Basically, the Express backend. Okay. So before starting start writing some code, we have to install a runtime environment, which is popularly known as the Node.js. Okay, I am sharing my screen to all of you guys. Mm. Now my screen is visible, right? Everyone, please let me know. I think my screen is visible to all of you. Okay, so go to the browser and write Node.js, and you can see the very first website. So just click on it, and here you can see the button download Node.js LTS, means long time support. So by clicking on this button, you will be able to download this Node.js, and very easy step to download this Node.js. So don't worry about it. Just press on the next, and it will be downloaded automatically. Okay. So the only requirement is Node.js and some little bit knowledge of JavaScript. Okay. So in the very meantime, Node.js also provides you the basic functionality to create a server. But after few years, there is some framework occurs like Express.js. Okay. So Express.js. So Express.js is the minimalist version of Node.js. Okay. Minimalist means the small version of Node.js is Express, and Express provides you a wide functionality like routing, middlewares. This kind of functionality provides you Express.js. Okay. So in current situation, we don't prefer to work with Node.js for creating our backend, but we prefer to choose Express because it gives you the functionality to perform routing operations, to perform some middlewares. Okay, writing middlewares, routing, and middlewares. Now you can ask me, sir, what is routing? Could you please tell me, sir, what is routing? Routing is nothing but providing some endpoints. What is endpoint? Endpoint means nothing but a slash. Okay, and after this slash, what will be you written? It will be considered as a endpoint, like login, like logout. So this is called the routing basically. And I think you have already uh, show this kind of URLs like https:// facebook.com/login. I hope you have seen this kind of URLs, like, right? So this is nothing but a routing, okay, a endpoint. Okay, okay, I think I am audible to all of you guys. Please let me know, am I audible or not? I think I am audible to all of you. Please let me know. Okay, thank you everyone. So this is called a routing, nothing but an endpoint. Okay, and what is middleware? Middleware is nothing but you are performing some work, but before performing a certain work you have to perform another work. Like, uh, you have go to the college, right? And when you are you will return to your home, your mama told you that before returning to the home, just go to the grocery shop and collect some materials, or collect some rice or dals from the shop and come to the home. So before returning to the home you are performing some work. That is basically a middleware. I hope you have understood what is middleware and what is routing, right? Please let me know in the comment box, guys. Have you understood this middleware or routing or not? Please let me know. And during this bootcamp, I will give you a Google form link, and you have to fill up that form. Okay. And after that, within 1 day, you will receive your certificate via email. Okay. Middleware means, suppose I will give you an example, like you were returning from your college to home. Okay. And your mama told you that before returning to the home, just go to the grocery shop and collect some rice, some other stuffs for cooking purposes, and collect them before returning to the home. So you were returning to the home, but before returning to the home, you were performing some work, like you have to go to the grocery shop and you have to collect something from the shop, right? So that is basically a work. Okay, like that is a and that is a B. This A is like your college and B is your home. Okay, and suppose you are returning to your home from your college. Okay, but before returning to the home you have to go to the grocery shop. Okay, so that is the concept of middleware. And another thing, routing. Basically routing is nothing but an endpoint. Endpoint means a simple address. Address bole to, like, you can see here this URL, right? https://facebook.com/login. So if you see this kind of slash login, on that time some images will come in front of you, like, oh, slash login, that means I have to perform some login operation, I have to put my username, password, and after that I can log in, right? And similarly, if there is a endpoint like slash logout, that means if I go to these slash logout, on that time I will log out from the system. Okay, so that is the basic concept of routing. Routing is nothing but an endpoint, and this is called an endpoint, a simple address in which some operation will be performed. Okay, have you understood or not, guys? Routing and middleware, please let me know. Please let me know, everyone, have you understood these two concepts or not? Now we will write our first Node.js server. Okay, we will create our Node.js server right now. For that we will create a folder called node server, and inside the node server I will create a file called index.js. Okay, that's very simple. Now, first of all, if you are going to create a Node.js server, then a very first thing you have to do is you have to open your integrated terminal inside that folder. Okay, and after that you have to write some commands. Like, if you are going to create a server, then very first step you have to initialize your npm. Now, what is npm? Npm is nothing but node package manager. So that is the npm. And npm is like a collection of n number of packages. Okay, so the very first step, npm init. So this command will help you to initialize your npm. Just hit the enter button. Then you can see here a package.json file has been created, right? So I will change something here, like I have to write the type, and I will use module.js. Okay. Now, sir, what is this type and what is a module? But before knowing this line, let's understand what is package.json. Okay, if you are going to create a server, then package.json file will be your entry point. Entry point means it is like your college's identity card. Your in your college identity card, your name, your description, uh, your semester, your blood group, your mobile number, all will be present on your ID card, right? So on the similar way, in package.json, some details about your server will be mentioned, like what is the name of your server, and what is the version of your server, and what is the main entry point of your backend, like index.js. Okay, so some basic importance, basic knowledge, basic informations are present inside the package.json, and it is the very important thing in your backend, right? After that, you can see here I have given a type module, right? So what does it mean by type module? In a simple word, if I told you what is the meaning of module, module means I can write this kind of syntaxes like import express from express. So if I want to use this kind of syntax like import express from express, then I have to define the type module. Okay, but suppose I want to use the common JS, on that time I cannot use these syntaxes. Then I have to use this kind of syntaxes like const express equal to, okay, let me just snooze my tab 9, require express. Then I have to use this kind of syntaxes. So I don't prefer to use common JS. That's why I will use the module JS here. Okay. So the very first thing, if you are going to create a server using Node.js, then you have to import a function. Okay, and we will import a function from a package called node http, and the function name will be create server. So this create server will help you to create a server. Okay, help you to create a server, right, using Node.js. Then after importing the create server function, you have to define another two things, like what will be your local host or the your host name for the server. So I will give the host name as a local host, and after that also you have to define a port number like 4000. Hostname means, suppose you want to host your server, so before hosting your server you have to provide some name on that server, otherwise you will not be able to access the server, right? And also you have to define a port number for listening that server. Suppose port number is like a window in a home. If there is no window in a home, then no air will be passes, right? So you have to pass the port number for listening your server. Okay, everyone please let me know, have you understood or not, guys? Please let me know. I hope you have understood this kind of things, right? After that, you have to create your server. Now the question is, sir, how can I create the server? I have already told you, you have to use the create server function. Okay, so using that create server function, you will be able to create your server. But just keep in your mind one thing, that create server will take a callback. Okay, callback means function basically, and inside the function you have to pass two parameters like request and response. Okay, could you please tell me what kind of error you were encountered? Please let me know. Okay, and suppose I want to send some basic data to my server. So for that, I have to use the response dot. I want to add some status code like 200. Also, I want to set an header because I have to define what kind of data I want to send to my server, right? So for that, I have to set an header like content type, and I will prefer the content type like application slash JSON. Means whatever data I will send to my backend, it will be in the form of JSON, right? So for that reason, I have defined a content type application slash JSON. And also I want to send some data like response dot end, and data is hello world, simple data, right? So I have created a server using create server function, and after that I have sent some data. But before sending some data, I have assigned some status code, also some header, and also some message. Now you can ask me, sir, what is status code? What is status code? So status code is nothing, but it will define you that is there any problem, or is there any response, or is there any error or not. Like if you are encountered this kind of error, is this kind of status code like 200, that means there is no error, all things are perfect. Okay, so for that you will get a status code of 200. If you encountered this kind of status code like 400, that means there is a problem at the client side, means a 404 not found. Okay, so that is means client side issue. You can also use response dot end, there is no problem. If you use response dot send, then it will work. If you use response dot end, then also it will be work. I prefer to use response dot end, that defines that our server is now end at this line number 9. Okay, at this line. So that's why I have used the response dot end. So 400 means there is a client side issue, and also you can encounter this kind of status code like 500. 500 means you are facing some server related issues, means at the client side there is no issue, but there is some issue at the server side. Okay, I hope you have understood the status code concept. 200 means all okay, there is no problem, all okay. 500 means there is a server side issue. and 400 means there's a client side issue. Okay, please let me know in the comment box, guys. Have you understood the concept of status code or not? Please let me know, guys. I will try to cover up all the things of backend into this bootcamp. Okay, please let me know, have you understood the concepts of status code or not, guys? Okay, so you can see here I have successfully created our very first node server, but we have to store it inside a variable also. So I have created a variable called server, and inside the server variable I have stored all the configuration of my server, right? Okay, now you have already created your server. Now you have to listen the server. If you don't listen the server, then your server will not work. It's like you have already prepared your food, but you have not starting the eating, right? So now let's eat, guys. How can you start the server? Like server dot listen. So server dot listen method will help you to listen your server. Now, if you notice this a pop-up, you can see here you have to pass a port number, and after the port number you have to pass a host name. Then you can pass also some messages, right? So you have to send the port and also the host name, and you have to pass a callback. Callback means function, and inside the function I will console log like server is running. Okay, so now you can see we have already created our very first server using Node.js. Now let's run this server. So how we can run this server? That is a very easy. Just we have to execute the index.js file. Okay, how can we execute? You have to write node index.js. That's simple. Here you can see the message server is running. That means our server is now listening on the port of 4000. Just keep in your mind the host name and also the port number, and go to your browser and open a tab and write http colon slash slash localhost and also your port number 4000. And now you can see here we have received a message called hello world. That means our server is working. And if I change something here like welcome to the home page, okay, but if you but if you perform some changes on this code, then you have to restart your server again. Otherwise your changes will not be propagated, right? Now if I go to the browser and let's refresh this page, now you can see the context is being changed into welcome to the home page. That means our server is now working perfectly. Okay, so I hope you have understood. You have to import the create server function from which package node http. You have to define a host name and a port number. Then you have to define your server, and then you have to listen the server. Then you can see the output on the browser. Okay, I hope you have understood this concept, how we can create a very basic server using Node.js. Please let me know in the comment box, guys, have you understood or not this concept? Then we will talk about Express.js, and after the Express.js we will see the industry standard backend. Please let me know, guys, have you understood or not? I know, guys, you will not be able to understand everything within 1.5 to 2 hours of lecture. I know, but I will try to give you some concepts about backend. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now let's talk about Express. So what is Express? Express is the minimalist framework of Node.js. Okay, is the minimalist framework. Minimalist framework means it's a lightweight version of Node.js. Node.js, the lightweight version of Node.js. Okay, that is basically Express, and Express provides you some functionality like routing, also middleware concepts. Okay, but Node.js does not provide you the functionality of routings and also the middleware. Okay, in Node.js, in traditional Node.js, you will not be able to using the concepts of routing and the middleware. For that, for removing that kind of issue, Express comes on the market, and now it becomes very much popular in Munstack development. We we always prefer to use Express.js because of its simplicity, right? So we have already learned about Express, like it is a minimalist framework and it also provides you the functionality like routing and also the middleware, right? So let's go to our VS Code and create a very basic server using Express. Then we can understand more about the Express, right? So for that, I will create another folder and I will give it a name like server Express, and I will open a terminal inside that folder, and I have to create a file called index.js. Okay, that's very easy. The very first thing you have to install the Express.js. So if I search for Express, here you can see the very first website Express.js, and let's see what is the command for installing the Express. Here you can see npm install Express, that is the command. And here you can see Express, a first unopinionated minimalist web framework for Node.js. Okay, that means it's a very fast framework. It's also a lightweight framework for the Node.js. And let's initiate our npm first. So I have already initialized my npm. Now, first thing I have to change the type of my backend. Means what kind of code I will write. I will prefer to write module.js, like import, export, this kind of syntaxes. And then I have to install the Express. Just paste the command and hit the enter button. Then Express will automatically install into your system. Okay. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, here you can see our Express is now being installed, right? And here you can see in the portion of dependencies that one dependency is now being added into our list called Express. Okay, so the very first step, if you are going to create a server using Express, then you have to import it. Okay, so I have to import the Express from where? From the Express package. That's simple, right? That is the very first step. After that, you have to invoke this Express function, like Express, and invoke means just put a pair of parentheses after the Express, and we will store it in that variable called app. So we have imported the Express package, and after that we have invoked the Express and stored it inside an app. Okay, then we have to define a port number. Also in Express we have to define a port number like 3000. Okay, that will be our port number. And after that we can create our server. Like you can use the app, and I will prefer a method called get, and inside the get you have to provide a route, means endpoint. If you have remembered the concept of routing, then I have told you that routing is nothing but a slash, this kind of slash, and then you have to pass a callback. And inside this function, you have to pass two parameters like a request and response. Okay. Now let's talk about what is get. Okay. In HTTP or HTTPS, we can use multiple methods. Like the very first method is get, another is post, another is delete, put, and also patch. Okay. In general, we prefer this get method to fetch any data, means for getting any data. If you want to fetch or if you want to get any data from the server or the database, on that time you will use the get method. Okay. Let's suppose you want to send some data. There is a sign up form, and if you just fill up that sign up form and just click on the submit button, then the data will go to the backend. Means you want to send some data. For that time, you will use the post method for sending the data. For sending the data, you will use the post method. Delete means if you want to delete some data, so for that you will use delete method. Similarly, for the put is used for updating any data, and also patch is used to update data. Put and patch are similar methods. Okay. Updating data. So I hope you have got a very small idea about what is HTTP methods, and and about all the methods, right? What is the function of a get, post, delete, put, and patch? I have, if you have understood these methods, right? Please let me know in the comment box, guys. Have you understood these methods or not? Please let me know, everyone. Okay. And one another thing, guys, I have told you that this put and patch is a similar, means these two methods are used to update a data, but there is a difference. Means suppose you have some data like name and age. Okay. Now if you want to update only this name field, okay, you want to update only this name field, on that time you will use the put method. Sorry guys, you will use the patch method. But if you want to remove entire document with another document, okay, you want to replace, if you want to replace this entire document, on that time you will use the put method. Okay. That is the very basic difference between the put and patch. I hope you have understood these things, right? So here you can see I have used this get method. That means I want to send some data, I want to display some data from the server, right? So for displaying some data, I will use the return keyword, and I will take the response, and on that response I will get status, and this status is a function, and inside the status I have to pass some numbers like 200. Means I am just defining that there is no issue at my server. For that I am defining the status code of 200, and also I want to send some data in the form of JSON, because if you send some data in the form of JSON, then it will be very much helpful for the front end guy to handle those data and for displaying those data in the client side. Like I want to send some message like CodeXIntern. Okay. So I am using this get method, and I am simply just returning a statement called message CodeXIntern. Now your server is being created. Now you have to listen the server, means you have already prepared your food. Now it's time to eat. How can you start your server? It's a very easy. You have to take the app and put a listen method on it. And inside the listen method, you have to pass your port number and also a callback. Callback means a simple function. If you are not familiar with the arrow function, no problem. You can use normal function as well. There is no issue. And I will just simply console log like server is running. Okay, very much easy. It is very much easier than the Node.js code, right? Just you have to just import the Express, then you have to create an app using that Express, right? And you have to define a port number only, and then you have to use put, patch, get, delete any method, and just return some data to your server, and just listen your server, right? Now let's run this code like node index.js. Okay, okay. It will be port, not post. Sorry for the mistake, everyone. Okay, now here you can see the message called server is running. That means our server is now active. Okay, just remember this port number 3000 and go to the browser and write http colon slash slash localhost, and port number is I think 3000 or 4000, guys. 3000. 3000. Here you can see the message CodeXIntern. That means our server is perfectly working, right? Now if I change any method, any data like welcome to the bootcamp of CodeXIntern, and just let me restart the server, and if I reload this page, here you can see the data is now being changed into welcome to the bootcamp of CodeXIntern, right? So that is the server I have created using Express.js. I hope you have understood, guys. Please let me know in the comment box you have understood how we can create a very basic server using Express. Please let me know, everyone. Have you understood or not? This Express is very much minimalist. It's a lightweight framework that will provide you some very fundamental concepts like routing and also the middlewares, right? So if you have understood these concepts, please let me know, guys. Please let me know, guys. Have you understood or not? Okay, I hope you have understood how we can create a very basic server using Express, right? Now let's talk about some very important concepts in backend. Okay, in backend, if you are going to write a very much proficient backend or a industry standard backend, then you have to maintain some folders and files, basically folder and file structures. The very common folders are database, controllers, routes, middlewares, also the utils and models. Okay, if you are going to write any backend on that time, you have to it is very much a proficient way to write a backend. Like you will create a separate folder for the database, for the controllers, for the routes, for the middlewares, for the utils, and also for the models. Here in this, okay, just let me change the color. In this database, okay, 1 minute, guys. In this database, inside this folder, you will write the configuration for the connection of your database, connection of the DB. Okay, so if you are working with backend, that means I am audible to all of you. Sorry, there is some network issue. For that, you will not be able to uh, listen my words. Okay. So I think now I am audible to all of you guys. Please let me know. I hope I am audible to all of you guys. Please let me know. Okay. Thank you guys. So I have told that inside this database folder, we will write our configurations for the connection between the database and the server. Right. So that is the database. Then the controllers, right? Now let's understand what is controllers. Controllers is nothing but some logics. Okay. Logics means suppose you want to perform some login operation, or if you want to perform some logout operation, or I hope you all have used the Amazon, Mintra, or Flipkart, right? And if you just choose a product and if you click on the checkout button on that time, you will be able to place your order, right? So that is also a logic. If you're going to place an order, or if you're going to log in or log out, that is basically a controller, a basic logic. And these logics are nothing but APIs. Okay, so that is the very basic things. APIs is called the API. So APIs are nothing but some logics. Okay, logics means I am going to perform login logout operation. So login, there will be some logics. So those logics are called API. Okay, please let me know guys, have you understood the concept of controllers or not? Controllers are nothing but some logics, and those logics are called API. Means if you are going to perform login operation, then there will be some piece of code, means some piece of logics, and if you use those logics, then you will be able to perform the login operations. Okay, after that, there will be another folder called routes. So inside the routes folder, we will define our endpoints. And I think you all have understood what is endpoints, right? Endpoint means simply a forward slash, and after the forward slash, there will be some context like login or like logout. Okay. So for maintaining these endpoints, we have to use another folder called routes. Okay. Guys, please let me know, have you understood or not these controllers and routes? Please let me know. I hope you have understood the concept of controllers and routes, right? Okay, now let's talk about what is middleware. I have already told you what is middleware. Like, you were returning from your college. On that time, your mom told that just go to the grocery shop and collect some materials from the shop and come back to the home, right? So before returning to the home, you have to perform some work. Like, if you are going to log in your profile, but before login, you have to authenticate, right? So that authentication is nothing but the middleware. Okay. Then next thing is the utils. Utils means some utility classes will be there, or some functionality that will help you to perform some work. Like, suppose you want to handle error, or you want to handle responses separately. Okay, SEPA, separately. So on that time, you can create these utils. These utils are not mandatory. So if you want to skip this utils folder, then there will be no issue. Okay, inside this utils, basically you will create some functions that will help you to run codes. Okay, and the very last thing, that is models. Models means In Munstack, we prefer to use MongoDB database, right? The NoSQL database. But if you work with backend, then you have to maintain some structure for storing some data, right? Because suppose you want to send some data from the front end to the back end and you want to save that data. On that time, you have to maintain a structure of your database. Otherwise, anyone can store any data and some error can be occurred onto the database, right? So for giving a predefined structure, we have to use these models folder, right? So that is the very basic fundamental folders in the backend. Please let me know, guys, have you understood these concepts or not? Database controllers, route, middlewares, utils, and models. Database is for the database connection. Controllers is for the logics. Those are nothing but the APIs. Routes for the endpoints, and you know the endpoints like /login, /logout. Middlewares is nothing but if you're going to perform some work, before completing that work, you have to complete another work, right? That is the middleware. Utils means some predefined function that will help you to write your code. And models is for giving the predefined structure for the database. Okay, I hope you have understood these 6 folders. Please let me know in the comment box. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, guys. And after that, we will create our folders for the backend. Okay. If you have any issue, you can ask me. You can also send your problems in our WhatsApp. Okay. I know you have already know our WhatsApps, right? You can send us and we will definitely try to help you. Okay, I hope you have understood all these concepts, right? Now, the very first thing, if you are going to create your backend, then you have to initialize your npm first, right? I think you have remembered this thing. So very first thing, you have to initialize this npm, and also I will put --y. That means I don't want to press the enter button again and again. That's why I am just putting the --y. Okay, and then you have to go inside the package.json file, and you have to type the type and define the type, which will be module, because we will use the import and export syntaxes, right? After that, you have to create 2 folders. The first folder will be the temp, and the second folder will be the src. Now let's talk about what is temp and what is src. In backend, src means the source folder, and temp or public means it's a folder in which you will handle the static files. Okay, inside this src, you will write your entire backend logics. Means all the database configuration, middlewares will be inside the src. Entire backend will be present inside the src, and inside the temp or public, you will handle static files. Static files means images. It will be an image, or it will be a video file, it will be a pdf, it will be a zip file. Okay, so these are called these static items. Okay, so inside this temp or the public folder, you are going to handle this static files, and inside the src, you are going to create your backend, right? I hope you have understood the src and the temp folder. And now inside the src, okay, let me just open the terminal one again, and I will prefer to use git bash because it will help me to write the code in a very proficient way. So I will change my directory to the backend and also inside the src. Now I am inside the src folder. Now I have to create another folders. Okay, so for that I will use mkdir, and the folders will be database, middlewares, routes, models, controllers, and one another thing, utils. Yes. So inside the src you can see we have already created these folders like controllers, database, middlewares, models, routes, and also utils. Now we have to create another three files. Okay, and those three files are uh, touch, yes sir, touch, index.js, which will be your entry point, means your entire backend will be started from this index.js file. Then constant.js and also the app.js. I will explain about these folders, don't worry guys. Inside the index.js you will start your server from this index.js, right? Another file is app.js. You will configure your entire server inside this app.js, server configuration. Okay, and inside the constant.js you will you will place some constant variables like database names or another names. Okay, so these are the very basic three fundamental files. Index.js, so in this index.js you are going to start your server. Inside the app.js you are going to configure your server, and inside the constant.js you are going to write your database name and also another names. Okay, now I will go inside the app.js, and I will use the Express for creating our server, right? Okay, I have not installed the Express yet, so I will change my directory npm I Express. So I have to install the Express first. After that I can use the Express. Okay, so just wait a second guys. Okay, now our Express is being installed, right? And we have already imported the Express, and we will create an app using the Express, right? And simply we will export this application, means this app variable, right? So that is the very basic server for the Express, and another configuration we will add in later time. Okay, but if you are going to create a server, then this three lines is enough for you. And inside the index.js I will import that app. You can see I have already imported that app, and from this index.js I will start the server. How can I start the server? Simple, app.listen, and inside the listen I will provide a status. I will provide 4000 as a port number, and here console log server is running, right? And if I execute this index.js file, then you can see node uh, where is the index.js file? It is inside the src, right? So for that I have to go inside the src, then I have to execute the index.js, and here you can see my server is now running, right? And if I add app.get, there's an endpoint, request response, there are two parameters, and if I return a response, then you can see it will also work. Dot json message hello world. Okay, and let me restart the server. Okay, now you can see my server is now running, and here is the port number 4000. Okay, and if I go to my browser and if I just change the port number here, now you can see the message is now hello world. That means the server is working perfectly, right? I hope you have understood how the Express server works, right? Instead of executing the server inside the app.js file, I prefer to use this app from this index.js. Okay, right? Have you understood or not, guys? Please let me know. Let me know, everyone. And don't forget to fill up the attendance form, guys. Otherwise, you will not be able to receive your certificate. Okay. And soon I will give you the link. Don't worry. Okay. And let's see how we can establish a connection with our database, basically the MongoDB. Okay. So if you want to connect your MongoDB with the server, before connecting the server, you have to create an instance in the MongoDB. So search for mongodb.com. Okay, it will take some time, guys. uh, I don't know why it is taking enough time. So MongoDB, it will be the very first website, MongoDB. Okay, just click on this website, and here you can see the very beautiful interface of mongodb.com, right? And if you are new here in the MongoDB, you can click on this button, try free. Okay, let's suppose I am assuming that I'm a new user, so I will click on this try free. Okay, now this kind of interface will come in front of you, and I would prefer to sign up with the Google. So just click on this Google button, and I will choose my personal email ID. It will take a second, guys, and I will automatically redirect it to my MongoDB account. So here you can see now I am inside my MongoDB account. Okay, so this is the very basic process how you can go inside your MongoDB. Okay, don't worry. I know many of you uh, have not created your cluster. Okay, for how can you create a cluster? Okay, just click on this all cluster options, and don't worry if you have not created any cluster. Don't worry, I will share a video later, and on that video you will be able to how you can create a cluster. But now let just learn how you can connect a database. Okay, don't worry, I will teach you later how you can create a cluster. So after reaching this kind of interface, there will be a button called connect. If you click on this connect button, then we will be able to get this kind of interface, and click on this compass, and here you have to copy this URL. Just copy this URL from here and go to your database and create a file called db.js, and you have to install a package which is called mongoose. So npm I mongoose, right? Okay, now what is mongoose, guys? Mongoose is a ODM. ODM means object data model. ODM. This ODM just acts like a bridge between your MongoDB and the server and your MongoDB. So this ODM will work as a bridge between this server and the MongoDB, and also the vice versa, right? So for maintaining the connection between these two entities, we have to use the ODM, and the ODM is mongoose, right? And after that, go inside the db.js and import the mongoose from mongoose. After that, you have to connect, right? So for connecting your database, I will create a function called db connect, and it will be an asynchronous function because I have no idea in which region my database is now present, right? So I have to make this function as an asynchronous, and I will prefer to use a try catch block, and inside this block I will connect my database. How can I connect my database? I will take the mongoose first, and a mongoose will give you a method called connect, and here I will paste this entire URL here. Okay, and I will just replace this from here, and I have to write my password, and I have just forget my password. I think 2004. Okay, and I will store it inside a variable like response, and don't forget to put an await statement here because it will take some time for connecting the database, right? And also I will console log here like db connected, and also I will put a database name like test. Okay, and inside the catch block I will just a simple console log the error, and I will just export this db connect default, export default db connect. Okay, that is the very basic function which will take this URL, and it will help you to connect, it will help you to establish the connection with your database, right? So I will go inside the index.js and I will import the db connect function, and here I will just call the db connect function. Okay, and let's start the server and let's see what happened. Node src index.js. Okay, here you can see the server is running and the database is now being connected. That means we have successfully established the connection with our database. Okay, so this is a this is the industry standard folder and file structure for the backend, and in industry we prefer to use mongoose ODM for establishing the connection between the server and the database. Okay, And in also later time, we are also going to launch our backend program for the 2 months or 1.5 months, in which you will learn the entire backend from the very basic to very advanced level. We will also write middlewares, we will also write models, but this is a bootcamp, right? So in this bootcamp, we are not going to learn everything. So I am just showing you some basic steps of the backend, right? Now it's a time to give you the attendance form. Okay, but before giving you the attendance form, just let me know, guys. Have you understood or not these concepts? Please let me know, guys. Have you understood or not, guys? Please let me know. Everyone, please let me know, guys. Have you understood or not these concepts? And I will give you the attendance form link, and it will be open for next 5 minutes. Okay, please don't forget to fill up the form. And if you love this video, guys, please don't hesitate to subscribe and like this video, and feel free to share with your friends, guys. Okay, and just fill up the form, everyone. Here is the form link. Just fill up this form, and it will be open until 8:21. Okay, hurry up, guys, and don't worry. After filling this form, you will receive your offer letter, not offer letter, you will receive your certificate within 1 day. Okay, means within tomorrow you will receive your offer certificates. And if you have already fill up this form, just put a yes message into the comment box, guys. Just put a yes message. If you have fill up this form, then put a yes message into the comment box, guys. And also, please let me know, guys, have you understood or not? Whether you love this bootcamp or not, guys, please let me know. The form will be closed at 8:21, guys. So go and fill up the form. And if you have any further questions regarding certificate or regarding anything or internship or any training program, you can ask me directly, guys. I am here to resolve your queries. You can ask me. If you have any questions regarding the internship or anything, you can ask me. If you have any questions, guys, please let me know. If you have any questions regarding certificate or regarding any training programs or the internship, you can ask me directly, guys. Please let me know, everyone. If you have any doubt or any query or not, please let me know. Okay, Srivani, thank you. If you have any questions, guys, you can ask me. Only 1 minute left, guys. Don't forget to fill up the form. And you will receive your certificate within tomorrow, and you can also verify your certificate. Just let me show you guys how you can verify your certificate. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all of you guys. Just simply type for CodeXIntern.in. Okay, and after that you will get an option called verify certificate. So just click on the verify certificate, and let's suppose I will take a random ID. 2024 11121. Okay, there is no intern on this ID. Okay, 120. Okay, okay, guys, let me just give me a second. Okay, okay, just a second, everyone. Let me open any form. Mm, Okay, just a second. Let me copy an ID. Okay. Here you can see, by putting this ID and by hitting this search button, you will be able to verify your certificate. And here is the certificate URL, guys. Just let me copy this URL and let me paste it here. And here is the glimpse of the certificate. Okay, which you will receive within tomorrow. Okay, understood, everyone? How you can verify your certificate? Please let me know. I hope you have understood how you can verify your certificates, right? And don't worry, you can verify your certificate in any time. Sometime our server uh, will be shut down for the maintenance purposes. Okay, on that time you will not be able to verify your certificate. Okay, guys, I think you don't have any further questions regarding anything. Okay, let's end this bootcamp here. Once again, thank you for joining into this bootcamp, guys. Okay, and thank you, everyone, and a very good night to all of you. Okay, let's end this bootcamp here. Bye bye, guys, and also thank you.